views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
And hello and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm your host, Daren Jaime. Today we're going to update you on what's happening in and around our borough. Coming up on today's show, we'll give you an update on what's been going on right here in the Bronx. Plus, it's a new year, and what better way to start off the new year than on the right financial foot. We're going to give you some financial tips to help restore your credit and more when we sit down with a credit expert. After that, we're going to hear about the Responsible Father Coalition and the different ways they're coming together, helping other fathers in our community. And then we're going to sit down with the director of a film called The Adventures of Cheap Chad, and we're going to find out what his inspiration was for making the film. And then lastly, we're going to talk to someone else who's going to be a very special guest with us here today on the show. We'll invite you to stay connected to us because guess what? All this and much more is heading your way because right now we're officially open. And hello everyone, I'm your host Daren Jaime, and today is Wednesday, January 3rd. Of course, you're watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. We want to wish you a happy new year, and we want to encourage you to stay connected to us. You can find out more about us at Twitter on BronxNet TV and Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Well, a lot's been going on over this busy week, and we're going to catch you up now with some Bronx updates. Many Americans across the country rang in the new year with an increase to minimum wage. Here in our state, 21 million New Yorkers will benefit from the legislation signed by Governor Andrew Cuomo, enacting a statewide $15 minimum wage plan. Now, workers in New York City who are employed at businesses with at least 11 employees will now earn a minimum wage of $13 an hour, while smaller businesses with 11 employees will earn $12 an hour. The rate will continue to increase until it reaches the minimum wage of $15, which should be set to take place by the end of this year. Now, according to analysis by the National Employment Law Project, 18 states and 20 cities have already raised the minimum wage. One other news, nearly 24 people were hospitalized yesterday from a fire at an apartment in a Bronx building. Now, the blaze broke out on Commonwealth Avenue near East Tremont, with more than 200 fires called to the scene, trying to handle in frigid temperatures. The fire comes just days after a deadly Bronx fire killed 12 people, including 4 children, and leaving 22 families homeless. Now, the fire started inside a furniture store on the first floor of the building and quickly engulfed the floors above, much like the fire a few days ago. That fire, as we said, that killed 12 people, was due to a child playing with the stove and a door that was left open that led to the fire spreading throughout the building. In other news, Mayor Bill de Blasio announced that the city will be closing one of the jails in Rikers Island this summer. The Department of Corrections plans to close the George Machen Detention Center, which currently houses approximately 600 men in custody. Rikers Island as a whole holds almost 9,000 inmates, which is the lowest in 35 years. The closure of the detention center is part of a 10-year plan to close Rikers Island in its entirety. Now, the plan is creating smaller jails through the city to house inmates. Of course, we'll keep you updated with this story right here on the Bronx. All right, well, NBC's Hoda Kotb has been named co-anchor of the Today Show. The anchor has been temporarily anchoring since the show, or I should say temporarily anchoring the show since the firing of Matt Lauer in November. And the firing of Matt Lauer was due to a female employee accusing Lauer of inappropriate sexual behavior. Now, according to NBC News, Hoda has been with NBC since 1983 and is co-hosted on NBC's 4-hour show with Kathy Lee Gifford. The Today Show family is thrilled to have Hoda on board, and viewers have a lot to look forward to in the upcoming year. Well, in other news, BronxNet cameras had the opportunity to capture Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., his third inauguration, along with the swearing in of new Deputy President Marica Scott McFadden. Our reporter, Ed Martinez, has the story.
Re-elected for his third and final full term, Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. was sworn in at the Bronx County Building by Elizabeth Taylor, a judge of the Civil Court of the City of New York. BP Diaz Jr. had first taken office in May 2009, and to this day strives to get even more projects started, along with working towards groundbreaking changes for the better of the Bronx.
What I wanted to do here today was something more sincere, a quiet swearing in with my team, because the team doesn't get enough credit. Well, people always say the borough president did this, they did that. They should realize that the 60-some-odd people that you see here today are really the backbone of how we have things moving forward. For 2018, well, I continue to do more in terms of job creation, and we want to do more and with making the Bronx safer.
Also sworn in was Marica Scott McFadden as the new Deputy Borough President.
I think the Bronx is doing great things right now. I think the Bronx has always been the place to be, but it continues to be the place to be. So I am going to help all these good folks here highlight the Bronx on the map.
This is Ed Martinez reporting for BronxNet.
Well, good time had by all. Listen, we're taking a quick break. We'll have more open right after this. Well, a new year means a new opportunity for many people to get their finances in order. Now, joining us here in studio to give us some financial tips for 2018, we welcome back our credit expert, Ricardo Black. And Ricardo, good to have you.
Really good to be here. Thank you so much.
Hey, listen, it is January 3rd.
I know.
And people are having the New Year's blues. And some haven't got the blues yet because they've still done their shopping and all that, but the bills get ready to come.
The bills are coming in a big way.
Real soon.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
soon. So getting it under control. Let's talk about this here because you got to deal with the bills of 2017 that you did around Christmas, New Year's, but then also really how do you get your financial house in order right about now?
This is the best time because, you know, holiday season starting back in November when people were doing their Thanksgiving shopping, you know, all of those shopping days started. In Christmas, everybody probably went above their budgets, and so now January reality is going to hit in. So the thing is, more people are living on credit, and they're actually borrowing from their future to finance their present. That's essentially what's happening. And so we want to help people to actually get that under control so that come 2019, they will not be crying, but they'll be laughing to the bank. So first thing first, got to pay your bills on time. And that means making sure that you have a way of reminding yourself about how to get the bills paid. Make sure that there's an app. We have tools available to you that will help you to get that pop-up notification to say this bill is coming in 5 days, 7 days, so that you'll know when it's coming. If you pay your bills on time, your credit goes up by 35%. So that's a good reason to pay your bills on time.
Absolutely.
You know?
So, and you got some tips here because there's some things you could do to kind of like control and really deal with your credit.
Well, the first one again was paying your bills on time.
Right.
That is huge, because then the next thing is the credit limit. Now we have what is called the balance to limit ratio. If you have, let's say, $1,000 limit on your card and you pretty much blew the limit in Christmas, you still can actually increase your credit by 30% by paying down 70% of what you owe. You don't have to pay off the full balance each month to get the credit up, but you want to show those credit agencies that you're able to manage your bills and your debt better. So 30% usage is the max. I know that years ago I used to hear people say 40 or 50% usage. It's a myth. You need to be 30% usage on your credit balances or less, and your credit goes up by 30%. So that's a very important thing. Now, one more, really quick. Someone called me yesterday. They have 7 different credit cards. And all of a sudden, all the bills are coming in, and they want to actually close some accounts down. I said, don't do that. Because when you close an account, it's going to hit your score by another 15%. So if you open that account, manage the account. You know, it's really important that people understand that once you sign that credit card statement to say, I'm going to take responsibility for this debt, it's really a contract. You have to actually do your part and do the right thing.
So you gave us some ways of really trying to build up your credit throughout the course of the year. Talk to people about the process because people want it overnight. It doesn't happen overnight.
Great question. So there are some very unscrupulous people out there who are constantly offering pie-in-the-sky promises about credit. Now, there is a law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It was passed in the 1970s to protect consumers from people who actually are lying to them, including some of the credit agencies. More importantly, credit agencies cannot move faster than 45 days. The fastest anyone's credit could get fixed is 45 days because the law says the credit agencies have 30 days to prove or verify whatever is on your report. And then they have another 15 days to send you a written letter with a report on a new credit report to let you know what they found in their investigation. So the most someone could get is 45 days. Now with our company, on average, it's 45 to 90 days. But no two people's credit reports are the same. It's almost like a fingerprint. You can't use someone else's results to predict one other person's results.
When we talk about this time of year, obviously people are doing better or trying to do better, talking about budget and saving money. Give us some tips for really setting that budget and saving that money the way that, in a way that's really going to get some results.
One of the best things that you can do to actually start to save and do a budget is to take money out of your account automatically. Put it on automatic, almost like doing automatic savings. So we have what is called an ACH or or direct deposit setup. So you have a bank, and you could even open lots of bank accounts online that have better interest rates than if you went to a boutique bank. So you go to get your automatic savings going. Whatever percentage you want to save, take it out of your account immediately and make believe that money doesn't exist. So whatever you would normally be using your money for, deduct that amount so that you could have it billed automatically, because one of the biggest things about money is that you have to develop that relationship with money as if it's something that you really truly love, because you have to pay yourself. If you're not paying yourself, you're actually a slave. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you don't pay yourself, you're a slave to money. You're a slave to the boss or to the job. So that's the first goal in getting the finances on time is pay yourself and make sure that you set a budget. One of the best things that people need to do is when they go to these stores like Walmart or Target or Home Depot, whatever, use cash and leave the credit card home. Why? Because if you know you have X amount of cash to use for whatever is on your list, there's no way you're going to go over your budget because you don't have more to spend, and that's it. And one more thing, remove the word spend out of your vocabulary because, you know, money is a psychic entity. It actually does gravitate to those who treat it right. So therefore, don't spend money, use money. And then it will constantly come and multiply in your life if you use it correctly.
So you just got to make better decisions, of course.
Better decisions.
And talk to me a little bit about retirement plans, because during this time of year, people start talking about, I'm looking at my retirement plan, how to adjust. What should people be doing right about now?
Well, first of all, 60% of Americans don't feel that they have enough money for retirement. Okay? So one of the things that we do is we offer people a step to get there. One of the most important things you should be thinking about is real estate. And now I'm going to, shout this out. 90% of American millionaires today are making their money in real estate. Now, it doesn't matter what they're doing. I think when I was here last time I said it, and most people don't believe, 90% of American millionaires are real estate people. What does that mean? Whatever you want to do, real estate is going to get you there. So we have the ability to take someone's credit and turn them into an investor. If they have money, we could take you and make you into an investor in real estate. If you don't have the credit or the money, we could actually help you to get that credit, restored 45 to 90 days. So you could then take the first step of becoming an investor as a credit partner. And then the money you will earn from that within, say, 3, 4, 5 months, you are able to actually get $40,000 in your pocket. Do that 3 or 4 times in a year, you have $120,000, and you haven't actually quit your job. Your stress level haven't changed. But now you have actual cash that you could use towards maybe a down payment on a home. And all of this is legal, and other people are doing it because they know about it. So it's time for the people who are listening to take action and actually put their name next to that house.
A lot of people don't take advantage of it. Why?
Fear. A lot of people are afraid of things that they're not able to control. In real estate investing, you need 3 things to really be successful. You got to have a team of experts who really know the ins and out of real estate. They have to understand exactly what to do, when to do, how to do, and not have to worry about the little details. That's the first thing, team. So we bring a team to the table. But then you need someone with money to finance the deal. Then you also need credit. Okay? So you can control the credit because it's based on decisions. It's based on behavior. It's the only part that you as an individual could really control. If you get your credit together, you're going to be able to actually move the other responsibilities of investing over to the experts, and you can actually do the deal. Think about our president, Donald Trump. Can you imagine Mr. Trump actually using a hammer? I can't imagine it because he has a team of experts who does all of the work, and his name gets on the building. So for every American today, you can start wherever you are, get your credit together. We can help you with that. Get into real estate investing. We can help you to become the mogul that you should be, because everybody can be. There's more than enough money for everybody.
So when people want to get in touch with you, what do they do?
First of all, go to my website, www.ubws.net. They can reach me. My number is always at the very top and always at the very bottom. My email address is there. And they can contact me even through social media as well. But the most important point is get on the website, ubws.net, and you'll be able to reach out and get in touch with me. I answer my phone whenever it rings. I'm not one of those guys who play phone tag. I call people back because your call is important to me. You take time to go and actually visit my site and make a phone call. If I miss the call, I'm going to be calling you back unless I'm driving.
Unless you're driving, you can't. We don't want you to get a ticket there.
Well, it's not going to let the call come through because I'm driving. It's going to tell people can't talk right now.
That's it. You got it all together.
Yeah.
What's the first thing somebody should be doing in terms of preparing themselves, New Year, budget-wise? What's the first thing that we should have on the top of our head?
How am I going to pay off my credit card bills? And the first and most important thing is to actually take all of your bills, all of your accounts, put them on the table, and strategize, prioritize, and get the high interest ones out of the way fast. Because if you're paying higher interest rates, on any of your bills, you're literally wasting money. You will never dig yourself out of that hole because the interest is so high, you'll never pay it off if you follow the minimum monthly payment. Never do the minimum. Always go above and beyond, not just for yourself in your money, but for everything in life. So just start with getting all your bills on the table and know what you're dealing with.
Ricardo Black, thank you so much for coming and being with us.
It's awesome being here. I appreciate it.
Hey, good to have you. Listen,
Thank
taking a quick break. We're going to be back with more shows. Stay with us. We'll come right back right after this.
From the north to the south to the west to the east, we are expanding our services and upgrading technology at Lehman College. And now, Bronxites have an innovative media production facility in the East Bronx at Mercy College in the Hutch Metro Center. The windows on the East Bronx studio, a state-of-the-art control room, media labs for production and training, and other media-capable spaces. Training, workforce development, leading-edge technology, and programs that help you share your ideas, your voice, on your channels, locally and globally. Build media and technology skills at BronxNet and build your dreams.
Well, the role a father plays in the life of a family is very important, and our next guest is dedicated to providing resources to everyday fathers through programs as well as community events. We welcome now the responsible father advocate, Coach Stephen Lynn, to the show. And
my friend,
good
to
to
see you
here.
again.
Good to see you again, baby.
Same here.
Good to have you on this side.
Thank you.
Hey, so talk to us about this. First of all, Happy New Year to you.
Thank you so much, and your family as well.
Hey, thank you. So we're talking about the Fatherhood Initiative, and really, as we start off the new year, really putting family first. So give us a little bit about the Fatherhood Initiative, and right here in our borough, we've got a special coalition.
Well, we're kicking off another season, if you will, of responsible fatherhood, trainings, events, counsel, those types of things, and we're going to take it up another level, if you will, this year because we were so successful in the past few years. Get a little bit deeper. We still have a lot of families out there where the father is not participating at all in the raising of the children, and it's not only hurting the family, but the community at large, and most importantly, it's hurting him. It's putting him in a deep hole, emotionally, spiritually, and we're just not going to have it anymore. We're not having it in the Bronx or the citywide period. So the coalition and Deeds Driven Dads is going to add some new things to the game roster, if you will, and push it forward.
And so when we talk about really engaging fathers, you do a good job of really, meeting them where they are and dealing with them. What are some of the challenges that you're finding with some of these fathers in terms of involvement and family and really making that connection?
Well, our biggest challenge is still, and probably will be for quite some time, is fathers taking on the responsibility, maturing, if you will, particularly in understanding there is no turning back. You've been blessed with these children, and in many ways, that's your way out. That's going to give you the discipline and the sacrifice, the build your character that oftentimes is not there when you're just by yourself, when you're just out there in the wind, living day to day, which many of our brothers are doing. But once you have the children, that gives you a purpose, that gives you some type of structure. So we're really encouraging the fathers, don't shy away from it. It isn't a burden, it's a blessing. But we're really going to have to show them how it's done, as we've been doing for many years. You know, raising children, it's not a easy task, but it's also not impossible, as long as you prioritize and just do it day by day.
Right. And when we talk about these fathers, you know, you work with them. There's expectations that you have of them.
Yes.
Share with us a little bit about the expectations that you put on fathers and then the follow-up that you do to help them to meet those expectations.
Well, our first one, and it's the pledge that we have them read, is to prioritize their children above all things. That's what you do. That's the only thing that truly matters at this point, the only thing that will last. So I get the fathers to, of course, take the pledge and understand what they're pledging to. And once they raise that hand, I swear to God, then we go ahead and show them the day-to-day operations. And when I say that, you know, we've been doing this for quite some time. We're going to do a lot of dishes. We're going to wash all the laundry. That house is going to be tight. You're going to know all their friends and their friends' families. You and the teacher are going to be almost married. You know, that's your partner. Right. And those types of things. You prioritize your family, because we know this to be certain. Once you do that, skies part for you. Things start to clear up. You get opportunities. People start to recognize that, wow, you're a responsible, not only father, but a responsible man. And that kind of opens up a lot of doors for our fathers that, until such time as they do that, seem to be closed.
Now, somebody's out there watching right now saying, you know what, this sounds like just basic stuff. People ought to just know this in order to operate as being a parent. But the reality is some of the basic things that you just talked about, a lot of parents lack, and sometimes they even lack basic knowledge in these areas.
Particularly our fathers. Unfortunately, we've been having at least 2 generations now, we've seen, where a lot of the fathers did not have a father or a father figure or a real positive role model in their life on a consistent basis. So all of a sudden you have 1, 2, or more children, and you really don't know what to do. That's just like if we was going on the ball field and you never played one game, nor have you ever seen anybody play the game. How would you know? So that's where we come in. It's more than just talking to the fathers about what they're doing. It's more of, let me show you how it's done. Deeds, not words.
And we're seeing some pictures here behind. I think you're seeing them right there on the screen. Talk to us about what we're seeing.
These are all our team photos. We're all throughout the borough now. We're in probably 40 schools. Last year we talked to over 3,000 fathers that we trained through Dads Take Your Child to School Day, Real Dads Cook. We're getting ready to have the Fatherhood Classic at MS 116. We're over on PS 102 over in East Harlem now, getting ready to have a daddy breakfast training. So the word is out there. There's no more excuses, particularly in the Bronx, about fathers doing their thing. And not only that, but getting the support that they need and the training and the encouragement.
And clarify, because, you know, we're talking about fathers. You're talking about things that are needed to be done and to really increase the involvement of fathers. But when it comes to fatherhood and when it comes to parent involvement, fathers sometimes get a bad rap. And talk to us about this, because we find that and studies show that fathers are more active now than ever before, particularly in communities of color, and fathers are really stepping up.
Well, the bad rap comes from you not doing the work, and it oftentimes is warranted. If you think that you're going to come in and just talk the talk, you just want to see your kids, you just want to talk to them and get the respect, but you're not doing any work. You're not putting in the due diligence. You're not encouraging them. You're not supporting them. You're not sacrificing all for them. Then that's the title that you're going to get. You're not doing your thing. But those studies, that, as we've seen over the past few years, are only telling us what we already knew. They're just now studying it. But we knew that. We knew that a lot of the fathers were involved in their children's lives. They wanted to be a presence. They just weren't being counted, if you will, nor were we looking for any limelight. That's just what we do. And now it's being recognized because we have really put this fatherhood piece on a pedestal nationally. So we see the father has to be there. If he is not involved in that child's life, then it affects the whole community. We know that. All the social ills are directly tied to that father not being a part of that child's life. And so we said, we're going to attack this, if you will, our Goliath. And we've been beating him down with our little pebble that we have. 2018, it's a done deal.
And so for fathers, how do you go about identifying who these fathers are, and where do you pick them? How do you come across this class of people?
We've been truly blessed. Particularly last year, we did some great partnerships. ACS was one of them. My good friend and partner, Melvin Alston, he runs the Fatherhood Initiative for ACS, because we knew that was a never-ending pool of fathers that needed the support, that were on the edge of, I don't really have my children, I'm not really involved, but I need to be involved before something terrible happens. So ACS has been an incredible partner, as well as Department of Education. We're always in the schools. We're never going to stop being there. That's a never-ending flow of fathers with a full range. Old fathers, grandfathers, you never know. But that's where we mostly get our people, as well as because of the notoriety we've got with shows such as yours. The word is out there. Everybody knows what we do now. We're just requiring them to, before you come to us, understand this is a lifelong commitment. This is nothing that you could do overnight, and nothing that we're looking to, you just want to kind of feel a little bit better about yourself. When you take on your family and your children, understand that's till the last day, the last few breaths, if you do it right.
And you've had some great success stories. Share with us a little bit about the development of some of these young men and how they've gone from a place of, really uncertainty to really stepping up to the plate and handling their business.
Oh, so many fathers now we have on our team are doing fantastic work. You see them with the kids all the time. Any spare moment, they're with their children now. Any spare dime they have is for their children. They're no longer looking for anybody else to babysit them, raise them, shop for them, cook for them. They're doing it themselves. Complete self-sufficiency, which has transformed into a lot of fathers now are getting their own apartment, which is a true phenomenon. They're going back to school. We're getting ready to have the college tour this spring, our first fatherhood college tour throughout the Bronx, which I can't wait for. Those types of things, and it's just been incredible. The numbers are just phenomenal. Over 3,000 last year, for sure.
Wow. So for people who want to be involved with the Fatherhood Initiative, what do they do?
Get in contact with us, of course, deedsdrivendad.com. That's our website, as well as, of course, join us on Facebook at Stephen Lynn. That is our port, and that's where all of the fatherhood programs really put out their initiatives. They're looking for their programmatic development, and it's an easy way for fathers to not only be tied to what we're doing, but also what they're doing citywide and nationally.
And you've gotten some tremendous support from the Bronx Borough President?
Absolutely, from day one. They've always been a part of the team. The Bronx Fathers Taking Action, that's their fatherhood group, and they do a fantastic job. John Fielder's part of that, been with us from day one. But there's more now. Over the last 2 years, for sure, we've had probably another 5 fatherhood programs pop up all over the Bronx. The last vehicle that we're looking at is Riverdale. Everywhere else we're touching, Co-op City, High Bridge, you name it, South Bronx, but we're getting ready to come to Riverdale and do some things, which is a different type of issues that the fathers have there, still most needed. And then we'll have the whole Bronx covered, citywide, quite frankly, at this point.
And you've done, and this has been a citywide initiative, but actually it's branched out. I mean, we know the former President Barack Obama had a fatherhood initiative. You've been very engaged with the work going on in Washington, D.C. Talk to us a little bit about how that also plays a part in what you're doing right now.
Well, now we're doing a lot of lobbying. That's our next level. It was always a part of our dream to make sure that we have the legislation and D.C. on our side as far as fathers are concerned. So we're pushing to get some bills passed, particularly in dealing with a national registry on child support. Unfortunately, at this point, the states don't talk to each other. There is no one clearinghouse for child support. So you could have multiple cases open in multiple states for one child, which opens up a can of worms that you don't want to have. So those are the types of things we want, as well as more funding. We're really encouraging Congress now, don't slash our funding. We didn't have a lot in the beginning, but we're looking to increase the funding for fatherhood programs, outings, events, youth motivation and mentorship programs as well. We're really branching off with that. So that came through President Obama, and we're so thankful. I am my brother's keeper, which we've been saying that since day one.
Yeah. Well, we definitely thank you for the work that you're doing. The groundwork that you're doing is making a difference. It's certainly great to have you here, Coach Stephen Lynn.
Thank you, my
friend. And of course, you can always catch him on TV as well, bringing us the information on the success of fathers. Coach Stephen Lynn here with us on Open. Listen, stay with us. We got some other news, and as a matter of fact, let's go to some other news right now. Several of the city's leading animal welfare organizations won a total of $180,000 in grants to further help animals in shelters and then match them up with owners. Our reporter Arlene Makoko was out, and she brings us the story.
Several of the city's animal welfare organizations are winners here at Unleash Pet Store in the East Village. This thanks to pet owners who took part in a letter writing campaign sharing how their pet changed their lives for the better. And all 7 organizations received a total of $180,000 in grants to help further their work in rescuing animals and matching them up with owners. Owners like Christopher Wool and Anna Pulido, already parents to 2 rescue bunnies, they took on their 13th foster dog named Simcoe. Wool shares the first time they laid eyes on him at a veterinary hospital on Long Island.
He was shivering and cold and this wet little scared little thing. And from that dog to where he's come today has just been an incredible transformation.
They credit their bunnies who became his friends and helped him to develop confidence. And today, once timid and shy, Simcoe is a bold and courageous explorer.
He's also inspired us to get outdoors, and we've taken him mountain climbing and camping, and we plan to do more this winter to the Adirondacks and take him winter hiking.
And take a look at 10-week-old Brielle, adopted by Maria Myrtle.
Brielle is both deaf and blind. She came up with her siblings from Kentucky. She came up with Muddy Paws Rescue, and I fostered her and her sisters for about a month before I decided I just couldn't let her go.
The funds awarded are part of Petco Foundation's Holiday Wishes campaign, which presented close to $1 million in grants nationwide. The stories are posted online where you can review and cast a vote on your personal favorite.
So many great stories here, 32,000 of them. If you'd like to vote on one of them, you can go online to petcofoundation.org. They're taking votes through December 20th. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Coming to you from our BronxNet studios, 4 new shows highlighting some of the best of the Bronx has to offer. We sit down with political leaders on In the District and discuss local legislation, events, and issues. See how the community and business come together with The Bronx Now on BronxNet. Nosotros features leaders from a Latino community. Meet those who are moving to make a difference in public service, business, arts, and culture. Looking for new and exciting dining experiences? Then you'll want to savor the Bronx and try new restaurants and eateries that fill the borough with delicious dishes. We have it all, so experience the Bronx in new and fresh ways on BronxNet.
Welcome, everybody. We are open. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. You can catch me on there each and every night right after the Quiet Storm. You can catch me right here on Open, 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Let's just call it on the 10s and then just keep it tuned. And we got you covered like a blanket, okay? I'm out in the community and we're all over the place because we are now open.
I got a crick in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex. But if you throw me out, I'll throw you some more.
Well, the film Cheap Chad is a unique film filled with improv, comedy, and a lot for people to enjoy. And joining us now to tell us a little bit more about the film, we welcome now producer Victor Chu, who's here with us, and good to have you.
Thank you very much, Daren.
Good, good. So, for people who don't know about Cheap Chad, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Cheap Chad is an improv-based comedy film based in Astoria, Queens. It's about a man who's cheap with his wallet as well as his heart. So it's very improv-based, features a lot of characters, over 30 characters, 30 actors, and it's based in the most ethnically diverse county in the world, Queens, New York. But I'm originally from the Bronx, so I've been here for 29 years.
Rep the Bronx, rep the Bronx.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit about, you said diversity, and you bring diversity to the screen, so much so that a lot of people are watching it. I mean, your videos have gone over 1 million views on YouTube, and talk to us about the diversity and what do you think people are attracted to when they see your work?
Well, the first film I did was about New York City from a drone's perspective, and I covered the entire 5 boroughs instead of just Manhattan and the Bronx. So I always want diversity in my films as well, not only just on race and social aspects. So I really wanted the flavor to be in my movie, the Queens flavor, the New York City flavor in my movie. So we definitely wrote a lot of different characters in from different nationalities. So and that's what I think makes the movie very unique and important.
And so when people watch Cheap Chad and they talk about, this guy who's cheap with his heart and cheap with his finances, what are you looking for people to take away from this?
Well, the part about him being very cheap is, and how we manifest that in the movie, is a way that people can relate to themselves, or they can see in other people. They can connect through that. So being cheap with the wallet, everyone, New York City is a very expensive place. You got to be very, you got to try to save as much money as you can, as Ricardo mentioned.
Yeah, you do have to do that. And when you talk about just the movie itself, obviously it's a full feature movie right now, but your original intention was not that. You had a scaled down version you wanted to do.
Right, we were midway through writing, and we were already finished with the writing, and then we still thought it was going to be a short film, and we shot one scene, and we have a monk character talking to the lead, and we finished it, and we realized it was like 3.5 minutes that left us with like 11 more minutes with the entire film. So, oh my God, that's not enough time. So we had to make it into a feature film. Initially, we were very heartbroken, but we kind of ran with it, and we do enjoy it more now as a feature film.
And so talk about where it is and how people can see Cheap Chad.
Well, we're about 3/4 done shooting. We'll be shooting and editing for the next several months, and then it'll come out in 2018, August of 2018. So the initial screening is going to be on my rooftop in Queens. I had to represent Queens. We do have another location in mind in Brooklyn at Anyone Comics. But maybe I can ask you what's a good location in the Bronx?
We'll hook you up for sure. I won't say nothing here because I don't want emails and people coming stoning me, but I can get you. I could definitely recommend a couple places where I think that you definitely would have fun, and it would be a good spot for you to for people to come and see your stuff. Right. You're an award-winning film guy as well. You were one of the panelists on the Drone Forum, and in addition to that, you've also gotten a lot of awards for the work that you've done.
Thank you.
Talk to us about the whole filmmaking aspect and really what got you into this.
Well, I started out in photography, and I was a photographer for the Bronx Times reporter at one point, and I also worked for the New York Daily News. So that's how I kind of got my eye in photography. I also minored in photography in college, at Baruch College. Yeah, so keeping it in New York City.
Yeah, there it is.
So yeah, and then in 2014 I made the film about New York City, and that kind of got me into doing more video. And I've been, the awards are mainly for drone videos.
And for somebody who doesn't know what a drone video is, let us know.
So a drone video is a video that's shot. I mean, if you're submitting it to a film festival, then they're shot at least 50% with a drone. So, and a drone, most people may have misconceptions of a drone. Maybe they think it's like a predator drone, killing people. But for the most part, there's drones out there, they shoot very stabilized film and photos as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so your aerial video of Northern Ireland won the short category at the DC Drone Film Festival. Talk to us a little bit about that real quick before we get out of here.
Yeah, definitely. I was in Northern Ireland. I was in Ireland for about 5 days. We drove from Dublin and all around the circumference of the island, and the last day we drove 5 hours to Northern Ireland, and I had a huge drone case and was dragged it for like a mile and went to the basalt columns, Giant's Causeway, and I just shot, and it was just kind of like this opening shot that kind of revealed the entire coast and whatnot. So luckily I was the winner of that category.
Well, keep up the good work. You got your film Cheap Dad that's coming around the corner. Victor Chu, our director, producer, writer, here with us. Thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Thank you so much, Daren.
Hey, listen. All right, listen. Stay with us. Taking a quick break. Got more show coming up. Stay with us. We'll be right back in a few.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Our next guest is a hip-hop dancer and choreographer who has created a reputation for herself as a female hip-hop dancer. Here now to tell us a little bit about her story, we welcome now Anna Rockefeller Garcia, and good to have you, Rock.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, right?
This 2018.
It's the first show I'm doing of 2018.
Is it? Ooh, I'm honored.
There it is, and you're right here with us.
Yes.
But you've been, listen, congratulations to you too.
Thank you.
Doing a lot of great work.
Yes, busy. I love hip hop culture. I represent it to the world, but I'm all about the BX and trying to move to that next level, stay successful, strive for that next incarnation of art and creativity. That's where I'm at.
So share with us a little bit about Big Girl Rockefeller.
Big Girl Rockefeller used to dance on the streets, used to dance in the clubs. I remember when LL Cool J, my radio, I Like It Loud. Those days were very nostalgic and beautiful for me. It's when I was starting to create who I was going to be. And breakdancing is hard for a woman, but I was in it, and luckily I've been fortunate to have gotten a lot of opportunities to travel, to understand what a career in dance as a professional dancer can be like, and to be able to make film, be in a film, work on a music video, create my own t-shirts. I'm a professor at the New School, so a lot of things have been afforded to me because of hip-hop teaching me to work hard and be amazing.
And so breakdancing, how did you first get into breakdancing? Because you've been doing this for
a long time.
A few years?
Yes, at least 2 decades.
Now that you put it out there,
right,
go ahead. 2 decades.
Which means I'm 21. How to get into it, it's just something that was emerging as I was growing up, and I wanted to pick it up, but it was quite complicated. It wasn't until later when I was allowed to go out to a club and allowed, to have my ID and start hanging out with people who were teaching me. This is a baby freeze, this is a 6-step, this is just begun, this is Africa Bambaataa, Cool Herc, Grandmaster Flash. And so being able to pick up the culture and the history gave me like a depth that I guess I wouldn't have had it if I just wanted to dance. So being able to learn the culture, the aspects of the roots like Africa and Latin culture and all of that. And Asian as well with the martial arts and Bruce Lee, because I know Bruce Lee was very popular in the 70s. So all of that just helped me to stand a little more firm, more grounded as I moved on to other things, commercial and community-minded. So being able to straddle those two things has made me pretty stable.
And you've had the opportunity to go a lot of places and do a lot of things. And hip-hop and breakdancing has taken you some places. I know Germany is one of those places.
I was just in Hamburg, Germany, and I thought that's where hamburgers came from. They corrected me quickly.
Really?
Like, no. Don't be American. Do some homework.
Right.
But I was at the Hip Hop Academy in Hamburg celebrating its 10-year gala, and they wanted me and my husband to do an authentic hip hop show. So we took the chance to show a little bit of the other side. So I did some songs that have like rhymes in it. My husband, who's also a veteran b-boy, was DJing and scratching. And then we allowed 2 other old school German like pillars of the dance to come on stage with their gray hairs and get down with us. So it was a way for us to let them know, like, we recognize Germany. You guys have always been supporters of hip hop. And so here we are giving it back to the young people at that academy.
So for somebody here in the borough of the Bronx who says, listen, who's not so familiar with the evolution of hip hop in international waters. I mean, I was in England and I saw Flav.
England, yeah.
And Flav had a packed show, but hip hop being received internationally.
Yes, and I think it's because it gives people that voice that they probably wouldn't have otherwise, which is what happened with us here. We finally had the mic, we had the wall, we were able to, get into the music industry. So I feel like that's what people around the world pick up on. It's that population that's like, we need a voice. They gravitate to hip hop, and they also respect and love those of us who have stayed in it and are true to it. So I needed that trip. I really did. I needed it.
And so give us a little bit about this. You got the Magnet Media at BronxNet.
Yeah, I actually was able to finish a course here, so I'm certified. I might be working one of your cameras one day.
There you go.
And it's because I was able to finish a documentary about girls who breakdance in 2011. And I want to know what happens behind the scenes. How do you edit? How do you work a camera? All of that, and the lighting and the sound. So I took that course, and it has actually opened my mind, and who knows, sky's the limit. I might make a part 2, or I'm not sure where I'm going, but I'm open to work hard and study.
What do people not know about female breakdancers?
That we work hard. We work really hard to get it right. I guess it's sort of like the WNBA. Like they work really hard to know the game, there's not so much bells and whistles, but we just really want to uphold and stand there and be equal to our counterparts who are working hard to get respect. And so we just want love. We don't want to be, a lot of female breakdancers choose this dance because we're kind of running away from all that glam and sexual, you know, like hypersexuality. So B-Girls are just trying to exist and show the alternate path that exists in hip-hop.
What are we seeing here?
Oh, yeah. I know, that's me. I'm sorry, it's the Brooklyn Bridge, right? It should have been Yankee Stadium. I know.
Okay. We'll accept that.
I know, I got to get a photo shoot somewhere in the Bronx and represent. But that's me doing an elbow freeze. One of my more, you know, trademark freezes is the elbow freeze. And so, yeah, that's actually a picture that has followed me throughout since 2000. People use that photo to let them know Rockefeller's coming. So get ready, bring your knee pads and some water.
And talk about the training, because obviously it's a lot. See, because people get to see, you know, I tell them they see the glory, they don't know the story.
Right.
But talk to us about.
Right. Especially now when you see like Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, but you see how that new Jedi just all of a sudden just got the powers.
Right.
You know, in the beginning, the first chapters, you see Luke Skywalker trying to lift the ship, right? Bruce Lee, you see him like working his way up. Breaking, you're only seeing the finished product, so you're not really privy to all the bruises and the hours and hours, the failures to then come back and succeed. So for me, it was 3 times a week. I still have classes 3 times a week. I'm at the Point now on Tuesdays with an open session for young people who want to come through. And we work with Wetgo, we work at High Arts, 3 hours each time. So that's 9 hours that we're offering to the public training. There's fitness, there's diet, hygiene that we also add into the components of training that breakers have. And so when you see the top 16, maybe at a Red Bull or UDEF or something like that, those people are really about their health, their fitness, mental, like they're able to focus in a way that a lot of people maybe don't believe that breakers can. We focus. It's how we're not hurting ourselves and how we're able to maintain this career, you know. So I'm, you know, really happy about my journey. And as a woman, you know, I'm trying to see where else can I go. I'm trying to work with the Bronx Museum, trying to work with the Bronx Music Heritage Center, and, you know, bridge some gaps here, because people still place breakdance in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's happening now.
That's right. And have this legend right here across from me. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
BX. Happy New Year.
Good to have you, Rock.
Thank you.
All righty, listen, Rock is here, and of course, you can see her around, and as you said, the show's coming out. She's got a documentary all around. Make sure you check her out.
Please,
good to have you.
Please.
Listen, we come to the end of our show today. Want to thank our guests for joining us. Most of all, I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, yes, you can catch the Recablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Cablevision's Channel 67. If you don't have Cablevision's Channel 67, well, you might be watching us on Verizon Fios, that's 33, or you can watch us anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. I'm Daren Jaime. Definitely been a pleasure coming to your home. Stay safe. Happy New Year. January is here, and so is 2018. Take care. God bless. Stay right where you are. Don't move for a second. Right here.